Hey, welcome to the call. Today is a fun topic. It's called How to Fire Your Boss. Now, some of you on here might think, well, I don't have a boss. Okay, but you may want to be your own boss, right? So then you're going to fire who else who might be controlling you and telling you how to make money, right? So there's kind of two concepts here. So we're going to go with both of those. Those of you who have a full-time job, you're going to love this. Those of you who your job is something else, you're going to love this too, okay? So let's get started. So first of all, let's just talk about this a little bit. In order to be a pro at your business, and then we're going to talk about Eric Worre, I don't even know how you say his last name. Do you even know? W-O-R-E, okay? He says you need to be
I think it's Worre.
Worre, okay. Eric Worre says, be a pro at your business. And there's three primary elements that determine whether you're going to be a pro or whether you're going to be successful or not, right? So there's three things, and they are the products. So let's look at our products that we have within doTERRA. You think we have pretty good ones? I'd say we have top of the line. You know they're pretty good when we have a 67% retention rate. That means people are ordering them because they like them, not because they're trying to use them just to sell to somebody. So we know we have a really good product, so we can mark that off the list. Great. What about the compensation plan? We have like one of the best in the industry, if not the best. So if those two elements are awesome and we know they're fabulous, no problem, what's the last one left? You. So there's three primary elements that determine your success. So which one's the variable? Which one is the one that really determines if you're going to be successful or not? And that's you. That's why we have a fun little finger pointing right at you. Do you just feel like, wow, okay, this is up to me? So if you're feeling like, gosh, my business isn't doing what I want it to be right now, guess what? It's up to you. If it's doing awesome and everything you want it to be, guess what? That's you. So we're going to talk a little about that today because it has a lot to do with firing your boss. So number one, we need to take ownership. What does that mean? So first of all, don't blame others for your struggles. So there have been times in my business when I thought, you know what, maybe if I was on this team, or I had this person who enrolled me, or what if I had the whatever, doesn't matter. Truly, your upline doesn't make any difference in this business. You know, I was talking to a presidential dime. His name is Jared Winger. And I had no idea until I contacted him and was talking to him. And I said, so who's your upline? Who helped you? And he kind of stopped and he said, Diane, I did this all by myself. Now, he does have an upline, but they're just several levels up. And he was not the priority for them at that time because they don't even have enrollership with him. Somebody else has enrollership with him. So truly, could you imagine if he were to say, you know what, I really don't have anybody to help me. I don't know what I'm doing. No, he just took it and he ran with it. So didn't blame anybody. Now, what if we look at our downline and say, okay, I enrolled this person, that person, this person, and they're not doing anything. I'm so frustrated. Guess what? It's not their fault either. It is up to you 100% whether you do well in this business or not. 100%. Take ownership of that. Okay, so I don't want to hear any more wallowing about upline or downline. Got it? Okay, that's the rule. All right, next, take responsibility for your business. Now, what does that mean? That just means that if you want to do this, then just go do it. There no longer is, well, I wasn't sure how to train somebody on this, or I'm not really good at closing the class, or I'm really not, and you're kind of waiting for some train to come on, or to go to a retreat, or I'm waiting for a convention, I'm going to learn how to do whatever better. Don't wait for anything. You need to be proactive, take the responsibility, and go out and learn whatever it is that you feel like you don't know very well. That's what taking ownership is. It's just going out and doing it. Don't wait for anybody. Plan for a successful business. So what does that mean? I don't know how many of you remember when I first started, I decided that in order to be diamond, I had to teach 2 classes a week till I hit my goal. So where did that come from? Well, basically, I just planned it out. I knew the numbers that's going into the second one. I knew that the average person, and I don't even remember what they were at that time because this was 5 years ago, had a certain amount of enrollments and a certain amount of volume per class. Now mine was a little bit lower, so I gave myself extra time to learn and plan. And I figured out from the numbers that I had, I needed to teach 2 classes a week, and that is what would get me to my goal of diamond at that time. So I had a plan, and I knew the numbers. And I'm not even a numbers person, but I figured it all out. So you have to know those things to take ownership of your business, to be able to say, I want to do this. Wow, and this is what I'm going to do. Here's my plan. And the last one, act like a leader. I think that sometimes we forget that there's a lot of people who are watching us and that are kind of seeing, what is she doing? How does she work this? What does that mean? Make sure that you are doing what a leader does, okay? Number one is complaining. Leaders don't complain. So are you doing that? Okay, there's a lot of things we can get into detail here, but just make sure, say to yourself, I'm a leader. Am I acting like a leader? That's taking ownership in your business. Okay, so here we go. Get ready to fire your boss. So whoever enrolled you, doesn't matter who it is, these are what you need to, you can actually say this to your boss, or you can just say it in your head, okay? So let's just read this right here. I want to thank you for this opportunity. I appreciate it. Getting into business for myself was important, and I appreciate you introducing me to a company that you believe in and that I now believe in as well. But from now on, when it comes to building my business, I will use you as a resource, but never as an excuse. I may call you from time to time. If you're available, great. If you're not, that's okay too. I'm going to build my business, and I understand it begins and ends with me. And that is how you fire your boss. You truly just take ownership and decide, I'm doing this with or without you down below me, with or without you above me. If they're there, fabulous. If they show up, great. That's a bonus. Other than that, you are the one that's going to decide what is going to happen in your business, what you're going to do, where you're going to go, how high you're going to jump, everything. It's all completely up to you. Fire anybody else who's standing in the way. Now, sometimes we let other people be our boss. So I'm just going to go here for a little bit. When I first started, some of you know I had a business. That's not what I'm talking about, though. I felt like when I first started, what my boss was my family. And let me explain that. I'm not talking about my husband or my kids. I was talking about the extended family that I had, my sisters, my brother, my parents. As much as they were outwardly, they always seemed to be like very, what's the word? Like saying, yeah, sounds good. Deep down, I didn't feel like they were very happy about what I was doing. Now, nobody ever said that to me, okay? I just felt like they thought I was a little crazy. And so maybe you feel that way about somebody else out there. I let that be my boss. And I let that be my boss for a while. And it was the thoughts and the feelings I had of what they were thinking of me. And none of it may have even been real because they never said that to me. But I let that be my boss. So I'm telling you this day, fire those thoughts, those feelings, or whatever you think anybody else is thinking, because you're letting it be your boss. And just say, you know what? I'm responsible for my life, what I do, no excuses. I'm not letting anything stand in my way. I'm going to build my business, and I understand it begins and ends with me. So fire your boss. Okay, so here, let's talk about the 2-a-day rule. I don't know how many of you have heard this before. I love it. Kind of goes along with what I call our power hour. The 2-a-day rule. You should be making 2 contacts a day. Let's talk about that. What are 2 contacts a day? That means somehow, somewhere, you're finding 2 new people that you can introduce to oils. That doesn't mean you're contacting somebody that you've already contacted before. These are brand new contacts. And they can be in person, they can be through text, they can be just somebody brand new. The best way to do it is to go out and about. Get out of the area that you are in. If you're staying at home all day, you need to go out somewhere. Go to the store, go shopping, go something where you're going to find 2 contacts a day. Now, that may be through Facebook. That may be that you're contacting somebody you've never contacted before and asking them. You know, there are people on Facebook that I watch, and they've invited me to different parties. They invited me to jewelry things and such, whatever, which some of us may have done to our friends, right? But until you actually invite them or contact them personally, it's not considered a contact. So I just recently had somebody who I've seen, I knew they sell jewelry online. They actually sent me a personal message and said, hey, Diane, I want to know if you would like to be invited to this little party that I'm doing. And I said, sure. Got onto the party, and then she messaged me again and said, did you see the special of this day? Did you see about that? Oh, this one would be great. You can actually engrave these little things on. I actually bought something. You know how many times people have invited me to these things? But because she contacted me and officially invited me and told me about it, I bought something. So think of all those people you may have invited to something, but you never personally contacted. Those count as a contact, okay? All right, so let's go to the 2 follow-up a day. Now, these are the people that you did contact or invited to a party or a class or whatever it might be. You're now going to follow up with them. Do 2 a day. 2 a day. We can all do 2 a day. That's not overwhelming, okay? And then this one, 2 classes or events a week. I've been saying this from day one. Yay, hallelujah. I did not get this from myself. I got this from somebody else. That's what builds your business, 2 classes or events a week. Do this consistently and you will succeed. So anybody who has ever built a business similar to what we're doing, this is the rule. You can't fail if this is what you're doing every single day. So did you know that there are all kinds of people out in the world who work and have a business, okay? All of them have certain things that they know that they can do to be able to get to the level that they want. This is the one for us. If you're doing 2 contacts a day, 2 follow-ups a day, 2 classes a day, you cannot fail. It is not feasible because you're going to be learning through everything that you're doing right here, doing those classes. You will improve, you'll get better. If in the beginning you're not, you will improve and you will be consistent, you will succeed. To me, that is so refreshing. I hope that all of you see that and go, really, that's all I need to do? Yes. And you will succeed. Easy. This is not as hard as everybody thinks it is. It's our brain that makes us think it's harder. So let's talk about the 7 fundamental skills. So that you're going to do those 2 things every single day. And then these are the skills that we need to always be doing ongoing. And these will be a part of our power hour and things that we're going to be doing regularly during that time. Okay. So number 1, finding prospects. Should always be looking for them. That includes the 2 we just talked about, the 2 contacts. Inviting prospects. Always be inviting them to classes. Presenting products and or opportunities. That's teaching the classes, right? Following up with the people from the classes. Helping the prospects become customers or distributors. And then helping new distributors get started and then promoting events. Those are the 7 things that go with our business. Notice nowhere in there did it say try to make your downline do something or complain about your upline or, right? None of that was in there. These are all things that pertain to us and what we are going to do within our business. So refreshing. It's us. It's nobody else but us, and we have control over that. Okay, anything worthwhile takes time. I don't know how many conversations I've had with people who have said, man, I've been doing this for like 3-4 months and it's just not working. Okay, 3 to 4 months isn't long enough. You make what you are. To earn more, you need to become more. So let's look at this 1, 3, 5, 7 rule. It takes a year to become competent and profitable. And now that means a year of doing what we just talked about, doing the 2 contacts a day, 2 follow-ups a day, 2 classes a week. It takes a year of doing that to be competent and profitable. So if you've come to me and said, I've been doing this for 6 months and it's just not working, well, just keep going. You're fine. Just keep going. You're doing exactly what you need to be doing. Okay. At about 3 years, that's typically when you're able to go full time. 3 years. Wow. Now for me, that was 1 year and 8 months. So I think our business is actually a little bit quicker if you're doing the 2 classes a week and consistently doing all that you're supposed to be doing. Okay. Refreshing. Okay. 5 years to become a 6-figure earner. 5 years and you can be making 6 figures a year. Wow. Only 5 years. That's pretty amazing. And then 7 years to become an expert. And an expert means that you're going to be somebody who's now teaching other people and you have a plan and they follow you. So I want to look at this again, the 1, 3, 5, 7 rule. Let's look at somebody who is going to a profession of, let's say a doctor or I don't know, a dentist, something like that. How much schooling do they have? A lot. How much do they have to pay for all that schooling? A lot. Okay. And after 5 years, 7 years, they probably just barely finished their schooling. And then now they have how much thousands of dollars worth of debt. And then they're going to start their job. Look at the comparison. If you and I simply just do the simple things you can do every single day, look where we'll be in 7 years versus a doctor who would be making probably not the same amount of money that we are. Because I have to tell you, last night I went to the home of a man who's a doctor. He works in an ER, emergency room. And he had a really nice house. It was beautiful. I walked through it, saw the kids, met the wife and everything. And I talked to the wife a little bit and I was just asking her about her family, her life and everything. And I said, how long have you guys lived here? And she kind of told us a little bit and when they bought the house. And I said, so do you like your husband being a doctor? And she said, you know, the income is great, but the hours he works are just ridiculous. So she never sees him. It's just not good hours for that. And they're still in quite a bit of debt because the amount of money they had to go to school. So you look at that and I think, wow, okay, number one, I probably make the income that they do, maybe even a little bit more, we'll just say that. And I have time freedom. I get to do whatever I want and I have no debt. So can you imagine us as a regular, normal person can actually attain something higher than what a doctor might do? That was eye-opening and refreshing to me. Anything worthwhile takes time. So it's going to take time and a little bit of energy and effort. Hard work. Let's put that in there too. I know sometimes we go, it's so easy. Just do 2 classes and then follow up with everybody in this, right? But there's hard work involved. Anything you do is going to take hard work. So let's read this. Our business isn't about luck, timing, positioning, or signing that magic person who will make you rich. Freedom is possible, but it isn't free. It will take hard work to stay consistent when the world tries to distract you. It will take hard work to learn the skills required for long-term success. And it will take hard work to become the leader that you were meant to be. So in the process of what we're talking about here, just know it's going to be hard work, not going to be easy. It's going to be something we have to work at. It's actually good for us. Hard work is always good for you. Challenges come with being your own boss. There's going to be roadblocks. Just expect them. There's going to be hard days. Accept them. The rewards are huge. Celebrate them. I think you've heard me talk recently about roadblocks and having hard days. They come with everything you do in this life. It doesn't matter what you choose to do. You're going to have roadblocks and you're going to have hard days. And that actually is what helps you grow and become who you are. And then the rewards are huge because you went from one place to another and you've grown. That's a part of the business. So when you come to a part in your business that you're like, wow, this is hard. I'm not sure I want to keep doing this. I want to think in your head, oh yeah, this is a part of the business. This is the part that I'm learning. It's okay. This is all normal and we're going to get over this and move on. Don't ever think in your mind that I'm going to quit because this is too hard. Quitting is not acceptable. You just keep going. Okay, so what are the rewards? We talked over here and we said, challenges come with being your own boss. The rewards are huge. Let's talk about what those rewards are. This is the fun part. You get to work when you want to, not when somebody else tells you to. So my daughter, my 20-year-old daughter, just got a job and she has a set schedule that she works. Some days it's 8 to 5 and other days it's from 3 till 11. Okay. Well, we have an upcoming family little get together that we do at Christmas time. And I told her, can you ask your boss if you can get off on that date? Because everybody wants to see you. You've been gone for so long. We want you to be there. She asked the boss and said, sorry, you can't get off on that day. We really need you that night. Wow. So she's really stuck to the schedule that the boss tells her. We need to fire our boss, right? We need a schedule that works for us so that we're able to go to the things that we want to go to. Okay, look at the next one. The harder you work, the more you get paid. You get to determine your income. Nice. Okay, let's talk about this a little bit. The harder you work, the more you get paid. I cannot tell you how many times when I had other jobs. I used to work for UDC Homes. I don't know if you know what that is. I was the one of the front desk people there. And the more I worked, and they would congratulate, Diane, great job. Let me give you some more stuff to do. I never got paid more. I just got more work to do because I worked harder. I finally realized I'm not going to work so hard because there really are no rewards when you work hard. In this business, there is. Every time you get an enrollment, you make more money. The harder you work, the more you get paid. You get to determine that outcome. I love it. Okay, plan your job around your life versus planning your life around your job. So many of you know something that happened to us 3 years ago with my little boy. I'll just tell you a little bit for those of you who might be listening that don't know. 3 years ago, our little boy had an accident where he was run over in our front yard. It's quite traumatic. We weren't sure if he was going to live that night. Today is actually the anniversary of that. He lived, he's doing great, no problems. But here's the deal. That night, we were in the intensive care unit with him. And I will never forget thinking, okay, I don't have to tell Jeff to, tell your boss you're not going to come into work tomorrow. We owned our own business. We were our own boss. So we didn't have to go to work the next day. As a matter of fact, we didn't work for the next 3 weeks. We did absolutely nothing. And here's the amazing part. our check increased. It didn't go down. We were able to plan our life around our life instead of our job. And that meant staying there at the hospital with our little boy 24 hours a day. That to me was bigger than anything else I could even tell you about, because I wanted to be there with him. And had my husband had a job at that time where he had to go to work, he never would have been able to be there, be by our side and work together through that. And that was huge for us. So I love that we have that freedom to be able to just take off whenever we want and plan it around our life instead of our job. Okay, you get to choose to sleep in or take the day off. How many of you ever had a job where you were sick that morning, but you still had to show up? It's not like the yuckiest thing ever. I will never forget that day. I was actually pregnant with my very first child, and I had to go into work every single day at UDC Homes, and I would throw up at work. I felt miserable. I just wanted to lay on the couch. Just please. I couldn't. I had to go to work because that was our income. It was miserable. So I can't tell you how wonderful it was when we were able to just take a day off when we're not feeling good. I can just say, sorry, canceling my calls, or sorry, nobody's going to fire me. It's okay. It's my business. I'm the boss. And I can take a day off when I want to. I can sleep in whenever I want to. Wonderful. It's awesome to want to be there. Okay, last one. Your life is no longer about your job. I hear people all the time, and it's just amazing because where we are, where we're our own boss, I hear people say all the time, I can't because I have to work tomorrow. Or, no, my job, doesn't let me get off on that one. Or, I just got my schedule and I found out that, and really everything is about your job and when you work. I now get to live my life and it's not about my job. A few weeks ago, we just decided with our kids home, we were just going to take off and went to Knott's Berry Farm. Last minute planning, wouldn't have been able to do that had we had a job where we had a boss. We have fired our boss and we're free, and these are the absolute fabulous rewards of doing that. If you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll find an excuse. So I want you to think, do you really want to do this? And if you do, are you finding the way to do it? If you're making up excuses, why? There really is no excuse. You may have traumatic things that happen in your life, but I'm going to be honest with you, we all do. Let's not talk about them. What is your excuse? And is it hiding something? Do you really want to do this? Because if you do, you're going to find a way. Here's the cool part. If you right now are in doTERRA, you're already your own boss. Are you doing it? Are you owning it? Are you living it? And are you believing it? I love my boss because I'm my own boss and I get to do whatever I want. So step up to the plate and decide, you know what? I am firing that boss and I am now my own boss. And there's so much freedom that comes from that. So that is the last one of the day. I'm going to open up the lines here a little bit and see if anybody has any questions or comments. It was really short today. I wanted to get to the point and really get to it. Okay, so we have some chats here. We have 76% retention rate. I remember Spencer talking about the industry standard retention rate at the Business Builder Retreat. Yes. Remember that percentage rate? Yes. It's about 15 to 20%. Do you know that? Most regular businesses at 15 to 20% retention rate. The fact that ours is 67% is huge. Take ownership. Okay. So Dina says, glad I did that a while ago, Diane. Yes, you did. Brooke says, wow, that's exactly what I was dealing with my family. Thank you. And this is Erin, very true. Brooke says, Diane, and when they're going through school, they never see their family. So true. Brooke has a husband right now that's going through medical school, and you don't get to see their family at all during that time. Could you imagine just take that time? So Brooke is taking that time right now to build her business, and the amount of time that it takes is not going to be as expensive as it is to go to school and have all that debt later on and be gone away from your family. So that's awesome. Okay, thank you for sharing your story. How amazing you could stay home with your husband. Awesome. That is so true. Thank you. Okay, any other comments you have for me before we end this? This was short and sweet to the point. Maybe we should have more of these like that, huh? Do you know the plan for the next series? Okay, so this is the last series for this one right now. It is starting in January. And I think we're going to start the second week in January. And I don't necessarily have a plan. It'll still be on Fridays at 10 o'clock Arizona time. Other than that, we're going to come up with the different topics. So I would like to hear topics from each of you, what you want to hear. We might even redo some of the topics that some of you want to hear and maybe do it a little bit different way, but I would like new topics. Is there anything that any of you would like to hear? That would help me a lot to know what topics I should do and add for January. Okay, sounds like you guys got it down. I will open this up so we can see everybody here. Okay, well, thank you all for being on the call. I hope you go fire your boss and become your own boss and work it the way you want to. Awesome. Thanks for being on the call, everybody. Talk to you later. See ya.